Hello guys, draft 4 out of 10. The reason I'm picking C9 games is because they draft differently, and in my opinion they have the best coach when it comes to drafting. They have the best coaching staff. They think outside of the box. They're not afraid to try something that isn't normal. And for the last couple of years it's been the same style, it's been the same way drafting, and it's been extremely boring for someone like me to watch. So the reason I'm choosing these games is because there's something for you guys to get out of it as well, even though you might not understand quite fully. There's still a lot of good stuff in it. So we just go over the entire draft from the start to the finish, and then I will talk about why certain picks are picked and why they make sense. So I can start off by just saying that C9 absolutely completely outdrafted Immortals. There's nothing you can do on Immortals side, and if you follow me on Twitter, you'll also know that I tweeted during the game saying that Immortals can't play the game and didn't yada 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 yada. I'll explain it to you now. Going straight into it, Irelia first spent. The thing with Irelia is that it's a flex pick. If you're really good at Irelia, you can make it work into anything. Of course, if there's a lot of CC, it's hard to play, but it's completely fine. Like, it's just a flex pick, and it's hard to play the 2v2s on this side, so it screams to me that they just don't want to deal with it. Ahri ban. Ahri got buffed, very safe laner. It's a completely fine ban, like not much to say about it. Aphelios ban. Aphelios and Caitlyn both. If you want Jinx first pick and you give Aphelios over, Aphelios has free scaling. If you want Jinx first pick, you need to ban either Karma or Caitlyn, because if you give away both of them, then they can just destroy you in lane and they can just dictate bot lane for the rest of the game. So these bans are not necessarily target bans. It's because they don't want to deal with the Karma Caitlyn or the Aphelios Fresh if they go the Jinx. So that is the only reason why, and it's not because both of them are just really broken. It's because they specifically wanted to draft Jinx first pick. And Gwen and Seri are just two very, very broken picks right now, so they are just removing power picks. Not much there. So Jinx first pick. So something you have to know about Jinx is that the champion is extremely strong if she can hit the enemy champions, right? If she can hit the enemy champions, she's really, really strong. How do you then avoid that? Well, you draft something that has longer range, and it's very hard to play against. Plus, if you nullify her in lane and she can't get the lead, then she will still be hard to play against if she can hit. But if she can't hit, then she's basically a piece of shit. What do you do against it? So there's a couple of picks. Like, you can go 6, you can go Ezreal Karma. Yeah, I mean, that's some picks, right? There's some picks, and they choose to go the Karma here. I really, really like that. First of all, triple flex, so you don't have to send it bot lane, and you have last pick as well on 5, so you don't, like, you're not giving anything away until you choose to give something away. So flex pick, and no matter what, it's always going to be good on support. No matter what they pick here, it's always going to be good on support. So Karma is really nice. They lock Sin here. Sin is not necessarily an OP champion, so to say, but it's a filler pick. What you need to understand with filler picks is that filler picks are picks that can go into the draft and always have value. That's stuff like Xin Zhao, right? That's stuff like Lee Sin. These champs will always have value because Lee will have his kick. He will always be able to have some sort of early pressure. And people like to call it like facilitators, but it's not really a thing. It's not really a thing. Because a Lee Sin can also be a carry if he gets to farm a lot and he gets to have a couple of kills, right? He doesn't have to facilitate. It's a word. You have to stop using it. You have to stop thinking of it like that. In the right game, the champion can be a carry. And if you pick Xin Zhao here, you're not showing anything. You're not showing where the Karma is going, and you're not showing anything, and you can always up to sending Karma top, depending on, or mid lane, depending on what they pick on 2 and 3 on blue side. So I like the Xin Zhao pick. Xin Zhao is personally, for me, one of the strongest champions in terms of like draft, what he can give you in the draft, because he will always have value. He's a better champion than Lee Sin, for sure, in terms of how he can easily carry games if he if he gets CS, and he doesn't have to run around the map like a headless chicken. So in my book, Xin Zhao is one of the strongest champions if you use him correctly. If you use him to just random gank for no reason, and he doesn't get CS, and he will have like 100 CS at 25 minutes, or 20 minutes or something like that, then obviously he's not going to be strong unless he finds like random kills. But in competitive play, that isn't always like possible at all. Leona, I don't know, really dumb pick. It doesn't make any sense why you would pick Leona here in my book. Because now you just send Karma bot lane for free, and she will have prio, and she will be able to free scale and be 10 times the champ that Leona is gonna be. But again, this is what I mean with the fact that we've been stagnated in the same way of drafting for so long, where people pick stuff because they are comfortable on this, and not because they're thinking outside of the box. And for me, it just doesn't make any sense. You should save support pick until at least second rotation, and then maybe you could go for something like Sona or Thresh. But why the would you go Leona over Thresh here? Because Thresh will always be able to force something in lane. He will always be able to force summoners, and then you can make a play on that. But Leona can do nothing. Leona cannot do anything until 6. After 6, sure, she can do something, but before that, she does nothing. Viego pick, I mean, overall a good champion and decent here, but you don't have a way that you want to play right now. It's just like people pick champs, or Immortals pick champs here just to pick champs. It's not because they have a certain way that they want to play the game, and you can clearly see that in their gameplay as well. But it just shines through in the draft. It's sad, but that's how they decided to do it. So I don't know. You go Ezreal. Ezreal is a champion that is extremely strong if paired up with something that can make up for his lackluster wave clear. And already now I can tell you that Ezreal is gonna go God mode, because this guy can't hit him, this lady can't hit her or hit him, and she can't hit as well, because Ezreal Q outranges Jinx auto attack. So overall, basically, in my opinion, C9 has already won the draft. As long as you don't blunder now, you win the game. So they go with Syndra ban. So the reason they banned Syndra is probably because Syndra is the strongest level. Like she is a champion that no matter what, no matter the matchup, she will get prio level 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you can avoid getting dived on bot lane level 4, you are in a very good spot. And what I mean by that is, if you have prio on Immortals or on mid lane, then you can roam bot with jungle and mid, and you can try to force a situation there. So I like the Corki ban, or not the Corki ban, but the Syndra ban. And the next ban as well, I'm a big fan of, because they end up going Corki ban as well, which means that they know and they understand that if they lock Corki, that can be an issue, because he will be able to outrange these two. So you just eliminate all options to lose the game, basically, because something like Seraph isn't enough. You need something like Corki that can consistently poke, because Seraph can't do that. So really big fan of this. And Trunda, sure, but you don't really want Trunda, because if you pick Trunda, yes, I understand that I don't say it correctly, but shut the f*** up. If you pick him here, he requires some sort of resources, and as it is right now, you just want to make sure that your bot lane goes out of lane, even or ahead, and then they will basically carry the game. So you don't want someone who wants resources. And yeah, I guess they ban LeBlanc because Syndra banned, so they think maybe they want LeBlanc, but C9 is not gonna pick that. Then they go Cillian, another flex pick. You don't actually know where things are going, because Cillian can go top with Smite, Cillian can go top without Smite, Cillian can go mid, Cillian can go support, and Karma can go top. Karma can go top with Smite, Karma can go top without Smite, Karma can go mid, Karma can go support. So you don't actually know what's going on the draft. And that leads to a lot of confusion on Immortal side, because they can't say for certain what's gonna happen. And now they have to kind of flip their picks, and they end up just going random picks that make no sense at all. Like, you pick Victor, that yes, he will wave clear and he will be strong, but who can he hit? He cannot hit anyone. They will all outrange him, and if Sensao jumps on him, he will eat his ass. So he can't play the game, and they just pick him because, I mean, there is nothing they can do. There is no pick in the spot that will like allow you to win the game, because they banned both of them. So now you have to go with something like Ori, which is also really bad. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what you would pick here, honestly, to try and save the draft, because both of them are banned. In my opinion, these are the two that you would pick, because Syndra Prio into potential top dive, or potential bot dive, or potential bot gank, or potential top gank. Or Corki to try and outrange and try and see if he can carry the game. So both are banned, and I'm not sure what you would pick here, because you are forced in a situation where you don't actually know what is going where. And then C9 makes this, like, they just won the game when they pick Malphite here, because they like Malphite, and then when we go out of lane, you don't play the game on Immortal's side. So I will just read up my tweets so that you can hear my words from this specific situation. So what I said is that Immortal's comp can play into C9 if no big blunders takes place. Sin will act more as a carry than a facilitator, and he can with Seal and Karma as will be God mode if they got off lane even. Hard favor on C9's draft. I like it. And what I mean by that is basically that Cillian will be, no, not Cillian, but Sensao doesn't have to gank. They don't have to get ahead. It's not on them to get ahead, because this comp will basically play itself. You give the first Drake, you give the first Herald, and if you're not comfortable fighting the second Drake, you just give that as well. And on third Drake, you should have auto won the game, because team fights are unplayable for Immortals. They are legit unplayable. You can't play the game. Yes, you have Prio and you can win lane level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in top with Jace, but after 6, he burns your flash on every ult, and when you don't have ult flash, you die on the next ult. Free scaling Cillian and free scaling bot lane, and Sensao doesn't have to fight. He just has to be defensive. He just has to farm. He can even full clear this game, and then he will automatically be a strong champion that is hard to deal with. And as I said, like, there is nothing to do on the Immortal side. There's nothing you are able to do, because you can't dive bot lane. You don't have Prio, so they will push you in. Yes, you have Prio top lane and you can maybe dive, but if Summit plays lane well and he doesn't take these automatic traits, then this dive isn't possible. So there is no urgency. There is nothing you can do on the Immortal side. And if we just speed run the game quickly, I just want to show what happened, but I also want to make sure that you guys understand that this is supposed to happen. If C9 plays well and they don't make any unnecessary mistakes, this is supposed to happen. And this is from the draft alone. They completely smashed the draft, and you just can't play the game. So this is good ward from Winsome, making sure that they don't get cheesed, because if they get cheesed, then bot lane has a way to play the game. Also, just quickly want to touch on the fact that he has fleet, which is really because yes, you are in a poke lane, but you can't play the game later on with fleet. It's so bad, you're losing so much. So you should just go 3 potions and what's it called, like longsword, and then rely on understanding of matchup to play the game, because you don't have to go 3 potions if you position correctly, or not 3 potions but the fleet. That is just I don't know what to say. That is just fucking bad from him. And yeah, so Cillian, no, not Cillian, but Sensao is pathing bot lane because he has Prio no matter what. Viego is pathing top lane because he has Prio no matter what, and that's fine. Summit just shouldn't be trading, and he isn't. He's waiting until he has shield up. Revenge is playing wave bet, or not wave bet, but lane bet. He's not, like, they should be trying to dive top lane. That is the only play they have here. So he should be trading as hard as he can to force this trade, but he's not doing that. He's playing lane really, really badly. He should be walking up way further, and he shouldn't be afraid to lose his own HP bar for Summit, because if Revenge is this HP, and Summit is this HP, it's still worth it, because you want to dive him, and you should dive him. Push free in mid, and Viego paths top, and they dive. They're not doing that, so there's just nothing you can do on Immortal side if you are not doing this, because, as I said, the game will just play it out. You have a slow push here, and they're not abusing the slow push, because I don't know why they're not doing it, right? They're not abusing the slow push, they're not diving him, they're not playing for anything. And then we end up in this situation where Summit is free farming, he's not in any danger whatsoever. And Sensao is also full clearing, which is fine. As I said, he's not gonna be a facilitator, he's gonna be a carry, which he easily can do. They burn the flash of like Power of Evil because he's hogging the wrong side. He is hogging middle of, okay, he's hogging, yeah, he's hogging the right side, but it's a bit iffy because he's trying to trade on Fudge, which is somewhat understandable. So that's okay. It's okay that he's in the situation. It's just sad that he doesn't respect the gank timer, of course, which he should, but happens. But yeah, like the game is just gonna play itself out, and there is nothing you can do on Immortal side, because yes, you get the first Drake, you get the first Herald, but then eventually we get to this point where the draft isn't playable anymore, and yeah, then we will see what happens, because the game played out exactly how it should. Because yes, Immortals will have a bit of fun until first Herald, but then after first Herald, yeah, game's over. Because now we hit our spikes, Cillian ult, Malphite ult, Ezreal will get first item when they want to start fighting, and then the game is hard. So they kill him here, and yeah, in my book the game is just completely over now. You just play the next Drake if you want to. If you are not comfortable, you can also give, and then you win, because Immortals are not trying to do anything. But I also want to point out the fact that it's hard to do something, because you have random picks. They don't make sense. They just don't make sense. Yeah, and as I said, they have a bit of fun, but there is nothing you can do. Summit has his Frozen Heart, and now you can't play the game anymore. Frozen Heart is such a good buy, so I love him for that. Thank you for Vega Vitsu on C9. Probably told them. Or Elis. Elis is also a smart guy, you know. But yeah, they are allowed to make mistakes on C9 side. They are making mistakes, and it's okay. They are allowed to make mistakes as long as they don't make any gigantic blunders. This game cannot be lost. They get the tower, so they're just trading right now. C9 is taking bot, and Immortals is taking top, but it isn't worth it, because Jace cannot carry versus this team. It is impossible to carry versus this team. There's gonna be a Malphite ult on his head, and if he doesn't have flash, he dies. If he has flash, then he's sure he will live the first time around, but then the second time around he's dead. And yeah, slow game, but this is what C9 wants. They get the second Drake, and the game will just play itself out. We don't have to see this, because there's nothing you can do. There's no play to be made. You can try to trade, but even that is hard, because like Malphite again is super strong, and you cannot stop him. And they get the third Drake, and C9 is doing what they should. They are just playing it slow, taking the Drakes, and then they get a kill on the jungler, because he's probably frustrated at this point. They kill them both. They get the Baron, and now they just play slow, play for 4th Drake. Get the 4th Drake. Play slow, get the 4th Drake, game's over. Nothing to see. Alright. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you understand how the draft has such a huge impact on the gameplay. Until next time.